In Raid Shadow Legends right now, we have the Drop Fever event featuring the dungeon boss, the Ice Golem. This is going to reward you with a triple the chance to get cursed artifacts. But is this a good time to spend energy? Should you spend energy on the Ice Golem's peak? What champions are even good with cursed artifacts? Let's chat about it. What is up, heroes of Teleria? My name is Charlie. This is New Raiders Only, and in this video we're going to talk a little bit about cursed artifacts. Now, this artifact set is a 4-piece, has a 50% chance to place a hex debuff on the target when the wearer attacks. Since hex is a niche but potentially powerful debuff, especially when synergized with certain champion abilities, there are champions that make better use of these than others. Obviously, any champion who benefits from enemies being under the hex, we'll talk about those in just a second, are good opportunities for the cursed artifact set. Any multi-hit attacker like Kale here is a good chance, and obviously if you don't have hex natively as a champion, then it's an okay set to have on that champion. Now, the most prominent champion that likes hex debuffs is Thea in the Knights Revenant. Now, Thea looks absolutely ridiculous, but basically her entire kit revolves around enemies being under hex. Her A1 does apply the hex itself, so the cursed artifact set might be a little redundant, but having a higher chance of landing it whenever you're not using this ability would be nice as well. All enemies damage increase by 50% for each hex debuff on the enemy team, stacks up to 300%. We have a Perfect Veil. That doesn't have anything to do with hex, I suppose. But of course, she is a legendary attacker and, kind of difficult to get if you're not chasing her specifically. There are ways, but, you really got to kind of rely on luck. Let's take a quick look at the hex debuff itself, going to champions. We're going to pick Kale. Now, Kale is another champion that I would like to assign the cursed artifacts to. This guy is, he pairs well with Rule, the Huntmaster, which is another Dark Elf, which we'll talk about in a second. But he attacks a lot. He hits multiple enemies, I should say, with his abilities. So it's a good opportunity for cursed set here as well. Click on a skill, click on more info, scroll down to hex. Champions under hex debuffs take damage whenever their allies do. So any area of effect attacks will kind of double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. The damage from hex debuffs ignores champions' defense. The original targets all take full damage. Champions under hex debuff take 2% of AoE damage inflicted on their allies, 10% of single target damage inflicted on their allies, and champions under the hex debuff only take extra damage from direct attacks on their allies, not lasting effects like HP burn, poisons, that kind of thing. So Kale, like I said, obviously he's free and you should have gotten him at the very beginning of the game. If you didn't, I feel sorry for you, and you should probably start a brand new account with my URL in the description box down below. It does come with 2 legendary champions and 3 extra epic champions as well. Attacks all enemies and then attacks 4 times. Lots of opportunity to place that hex debuff. Now, I'm going to go take a look at another good champion that pairs well with Kale, and then we'll talk about a couple of free champions. So let's go to the, not free, but easier to get champions, I should say. So the next one is, Rule the Huntmaster is another gorgeous champion. Legendary though, so not easy to get. His skills deal bonus damage and crowd control when enemies are under hex. If you lack another reliable hexer, Cursed will help make this guy pretty self-sufficient. So if you happen to have Rule the Huntmaster, throw some cursed items on him. Let's see, attacks one enemy. Okay, transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target if the target is under hex. Very nice. We'll ignore 25% of each target's defense if there are 4 or more enemies under hex debuffs. Attacks all enemies. Very nice. Places 50% increased attack buff on all allies, then places a hex debuff on all enemies. Okay, hex himself. Decreases the speed of enemies under hex debuffs by 5%, and if also increases the damage under hex debuffs received by 10%, and increases the value of heals they receive by 30. This guy is so freaking cool. This guy is so freaking cool. All right, so some easier to get champions that you can use would be the rare Fellhound, which I believe is a demon spawn. Yeah, this guy. Okay, his AoE 1 hits His A1 hits all enemies. Good in campaign or farming setups where you're trying to build synergy around hex damage dealers. And then lastly, the rare barbarian, the soulbound Boyar, which you can get pretty easily, and maybe not the best choice for the cursed artifact set, but she is a very easy to get champion that does a area of effect attack or attacking multiple enemies at once. So let me know in the comment section down below. Is cursed too situational? Can you build a team around specific champions? I guess if you happen to get Rule or Thea, then yeah, you could probably build something. Probably good for campaign. I don't know how effective it's going to be versus like boss fights and stuff like that. Maybe worth a shot in PvP. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are the cursed artifacts off of the Ice Knight dungeon, are they worth spending energy on? My verdict is no. Wait for a better drop fever, like maybe a speed one or the savage one that's coming next. But let me know your thoughts. I love you all. Good luck in Teleria.